Thank you, Coach Adam, for joining me today. Coach Adam is currently the head football coach at St. Anselm College. Coach, if you don't mind giving a quick background about yourself for people who don't know who you are.
Sure. I'm originally born and raised in the north suburbs of Chicago. Started coaching when I was 19 years old. So 1 year at high school, 5 years at junior college. Then I got an opportunity to move up to Division II. Then was a GA at Western Michigan, and then off to Division III at Elmhurst. Then out to Syracuse out east, and then I moved even farther east to come to St. Anselm College here in New Hampshire.
Awesome, Coach. Um, okay, kind of hit on a couple of those spots real quick. And we kind of talked about this before we came on live. Like I said, you GA'd at Western Michigan, and you had to spent some time working for Coach Cubitt. What kind do you take away from not only Coach Cubitt, but that experience, your first initial experience working D1 football?
Yeah, I think for me, I had kind of an advantage because I had been, a student assistant for Brian Kelly at Grand Valley State and for Chuck Martin in his last year. So I had a good idea of, at least I thought I did, about how to coach and just be organized and put your head down and work and grind. And that's what GAs do. So, and to the staff's credit, I worked with Coach Schaefer and Coach Doust and Coach Morrison and Coach White. And that was a great group of guys. They really treated me not like a GA. I was in a lot of the meetings, and I was in a lot of the game plan stuff, and having a special time in that defensive staff room. That was probably my most fun time coaching in my entire career. Was that room that we had off the first floor at Western Michigan.
All right, Coach. And kind of continue with your D1 experience. Um, you've kind of bounced between offense and defense, but when you were at Syracuse, you're the O line coach. What do you kind of take away from Coach Schaefer, and then what do you kind of take away from that experience in coaching offensive line for those couple of years?
Yeah, it was a great experience. We had a great group of guys. We're transitioning from the Big East into the ACC. So the one thing that I learned is, you can only control the controllables. And Coach Schaefer used to say that all the time, and I continue to coach that within my own group here. And, when you get into the ACC and now you have to play Jameis Winston and Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson, those teams are tough to beat just by themselves. And then they got a great cast of characters. So it was a really good competition. We had some injuries early on, especially at the offensive line my first year. And we felt like we were trending in the right direction. And, as it is in college football, and especially in Division I, you're judged by wins and losses. And people are very fickle to that standpoint. And even though I think as coaches, the real wins that we have are not only on the field, but the kind of impact that we have in the personal life of young people. And that's one takeaway I think from Coach Schaefer, is that he always cared about young people and continues to do so in his current job at Middle Tennessee. But it was great from an X's and O's standpoint to be the O-line coach, because you see all these different defenses and exotic blitzes, and some of them when I was on defense I actually used. So I thought for me it gave me a little bit of an advantage to decipher some of the packages, especially some of the third down exotics, and try to give our kids the best opportunity to prepare for success.
And then kind of continue with that. You guys ran a lot of zone at Syracuse. What do you think are kind of tidbits that are missed by high school coaches, or things that aren't focused enough on when you're trying to run inside or outside zone?
Yeah, so I think you have to decide what kind of what are your guys up front. And we were more of a track and a 45-degree zone team, I say, and we weren't I know there's some O-line coaches out there who they're going to double every single guy, and they're going to, knock the nose back, and they're going to, backdoor fit some things. And for us, we were built to run up front. So we were a better mid zone team than we were an inside zone team. And, our thing was to displace the front side and cut the backside. So we could really turn that thing into an outside play, or it could be a run to upcut, which normally happened a lot of the time in that front side beat, even to backside A gap. So that was what I thought we were really good at from that standpoint in the run game. And I think, for the young coaches out there, is like, you got to decide, what do you want to be? Do you want to be that like hunker down double team inside zone team, or do you want to be, hey, let's get these bodies moving on a track and get into a power angle and give the back a chance to either hit it front side or jump cut it to the backside.
And then kind of continuing with, I don't know necessarily scheme, but kind of talking offense and defense. I mean, like I said earlier, you floated on both sides of the ball, and worked on both. And you currently are the DC, also on top of being the head coach, the DC and linebacker coach at the school you're at now. How did that time coaching offense help you prepare to be a defense coordinator and coach linebackers, especially that offensive line time? Because as well as I do, the offensive line is key for most offenses for their success. How did that help prepare you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like and as, right? So if you look at like the tackle position, right, and what you teach your tackle to stay square, stay in his pass set, don't open the gate, don't flip your hips, and then give that speed rusher a short edge or an edge back inside. There's a lot of that carryover teaching to what you would teach a corner, right? So, corner, don't open the gate, don't flip your hips, stay square, especially in the move area. And then once you flip into him, obviously look and lean and then, drive him and create that wall. So for me, defensively, I love to try to pick apart protections. So there's only X amount of protections out there. You can be a full slide, half slide, half man, man to the back, bring the back across. We don't see it very much anymore, but what I call buck protection, where everybody's backing up and trying to sort things. Big on big when it comes to bear or reduced front. So I try to figure out, okay, how are they going to protect us, and then go attack those protections. And that's what's been the most fun for me, just in understanding, the weaknesses. There's a weakness to everything in football, and I think the good coaches find a way to exploit that weakness.
Okay, coach. And then kind of last three things I want to hit on. First thing is, I mean, you took over a program that had been struggling for a while. What is the process to rebuilding that been like? And kind of what has your main focus been to rebuild? And what advice would you give to people who take those kind of jobs?
Yeah, number one, don't take a job in May. All right, so that's a number one thing. It was difficult. I hired my last full-time coach a week before camp, so just having that synergy and that camaraderie within your coaching staff and how you want to practice and how you want to do things. I would say that the most important thing is to set a standard and live by it. And when you're trying to build a culture, I think the biggest thing is every decision, every conversation either builds that, and every person you bring into the program either builds that culture or it destroys it, it busts it. And, whether that be a player in the program or a coach who's not adhering to what, the standard is, just controlling the things that you can control. And I would say that is one thing that, stay the course no matter what. It's okay to have a plan and then reevaluate that plan as you go. And I had to do that along the way, especially in recruiting and trying to figure out, what really fits our college, our school, our community, our culture. And, and it's going to be a lot of hours. And I think another big thing that I've told a lot of young coaches who have asked me this question is you need to redefine what your definition of success is, because it's very difficult to take a team that has not won or maybe one or two wins. And I know that's what we all judge ourselves on sometimes, obviously, but it's very difficult to flip that in 1 year, one season, right? I mean, unless you can bring in a bunch of transfers and get the team, turned around that quickly, that's it's not impossible, but it's hard. So you need to redefine what your definition of success is. So, what's your definition of success for that camp? What's your definition of success? What are you trying to accomplish? Be realistic. If you know you're not as talented and the best you think honestly in your mind privately is 3-6, then it's going to be 3-6, and everything over that is a bonus. I'm not trying to set your standards low. I'm asking you to be realistic. Live in your own reality. If you don't have as much money as the top team in the league does, and you can't get a 2.3 young man that got kicked off a 1A team, then that's not your reality. So don't cry about it.
Awesome, Coach. And then kind of the last of two questions is, what has your focus this offseason been? I mean, obviously, we've all had a lot of time on our hands this offseason and trying to get stuff done and film. And some of us there's high school coaches and college coaches around the country that have been moved to the spring. I mean, what has the focus been? What have you kind of been looking at? They could be on, off the field, both. What has kind of your focus been?
For me personally and our coaching staff, it's been one of individual development. And it's been difficult because my coach has been spread out all over the place. So I think part of motivation for any leader is to figure out what that group or that person's currency is. For a lot of people, it's money. For others, it's prestige and ego. For others, it's a nice saying or a gift card or a handwritten note. So just figuring out how to continue to motivate people has been something that I've really looked at. And in my own life, after doing this for 24 years, I haven't stopped learning. So I really hunkered down and got into more film and got into, some leadership things and motivation and different webinars and talking with other coaches and doing Zooms with those guys and just collaborating and sharing. I think we got to a point in coronavirus and COVID where I think everybody in the coaching profession and the coaching community is pretty tight knit, just decided to stop taking credit for whatever it was and let's collaborate and let's make sure that the game of football, which we all love and which is the greatest game in the world, is preserved and it thrives. And I think at some point along the lines, everybody kind of did that and took that and said, okay, well, hey, let's collaborate, let's get online, let's talk about coverages and how to attack empty or whatever that idea of the day was. So for the players, it was just this continuous conversation of checking in on their mental health and doing things that others refuse to do. And that was a challenge that I really gave to them. I told them 90% of the country right now is on Xbox at 7 p.m. at night. What can you do that's going to set you apart? And, we've had some really good response. The upper echelon of our team, I think, will come back ready to rock and roll. And, we'll see how everybody else is.
Awesome, Coach. And then the last thing I got for you, what's the best part about living in New Hampshire?
Oh, man, this is, I told you off camera, this is my favorite place to live. The people have been extraordinary, and I've always believed in coaching. It's not where you work, it's who you're working with. And from the president, CFO, campus ministry, janitor, athletic director, coaches, other coaches on campus, neighbors here, they've been phenomenal. That has been my number one thing is people and its relationships that we've built here. And number two is probably the location, because we're an hour north of Boston. We're an hour to the White Mountain Range, and then we're 45 minutes to the beach. So it suits a lot of different personalities. I being from the northern suburbs of Chicago, I need to be close to a city. I can't be out in the middle of nowhere, USA, where it takes 30 minutes to get to the nearest, Walmart or sports bar. So, but that has been really enjoyable to be able to see a lot of the different parts of New England.
Well, Coach, I thank you for your time, and I hope your family stay healthy, and whenever you and your players kind of get back at it, I wish you guys luck and safety and health. So thank you again, Coach.
Appreciate it, Nick. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Coach.